Hi, welcome to the Productize or Perish podcast, where creativity meets strategy and ideas turn into revenue. I'm your host, Craig Davis, founder of Azola Creative, and each week we focus on discovering new and creative product marketing strategies. I like to hear real-world success stories from people like you, and I want to share new and creative ways that you can dominate in your market. Now, this week's quote is, well, actually, I should say this week's quotes. I'm going to provide two. The first one is from Walter Landor, who is a renowned brand strategist. He says, products are made in a factory, but brands are created in the mind. The second quote is from Dan Miller, who is a mentor of mine. And he said, if I hear the same question three times, I need to make it into a product. So today's topic is going to be about brand versus product marketing. This is a topic that comes up a lot, and I think that it's a debate amongst marketers, but I also think that it causes a lot of confusion for business leaders and business owners. And so we're going to unpack this and just think about kind of what role each play. What role does brand marketing play for your business growth, as well as what role product marketing plays in your business growth. So before we get started, I want to share this week's resource. And it's the beginning of the year. So a lot of businesses are out there and they're focused on trying to really launch their new marketing strategy for the year. The problem is, again, a lot of people don't understand what marketing is and what a marketing strategy is versus what maybe marketing tactics might be. And there's a quote out there, or I'm sorry, not a quote, but a statistic that says 85% of CEOs do not trust marketers. And that's not to say they don't like marketers, but it's that they know they need to do marketing, but they don't really believe that the marketing is doing anything. And the same thing can be said for small business leaders, small business owners. I think it's about 70 to 75% of small business owners don't believe in the marketing that they have. And really, they'd like to be able to just do it themselves. And I think that may be a detriment to them, but at the same time, they may not be at a point where they can afford to hire a marketing agency, and they don't know what steps to make. And so what happens is that if you're a marketer in an organization that's, say, like a mid-sized to enterprise-sized company, you're dealing with a scenario where you have business leaders that don't quite believe in the marketing, and you're kind of up against the fence because you're trying to explain the value of what you're doing, but they don't want to hear it, or they don't understand. It's not their world. And so people just think of marketing as kind of this creative world, which it is, but there's a lot of strategy that goes behind it. And all these different marketing channels mean something different. And they mean something different to each business because it's not a one size fits all. So if you're a business leader that went to a conference last month and everybody was just telling you that, SEO is where it's at. It has to be 100% SEO. Just don't even waste your time with other stuff. Well, you're going to believe SEO must be it. Or if you hear the same thing about social media or email marketing or whatever, any one of them is a great marketing channel, and there's a billion success stories with them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every one of them is right for your business. And so that is what I'm going to help you with this resource is that I built what is called the SMB marketing blueprint. Now, this isn't necessarily just for small and medium-sized business owners or business leaders, but it's probably a little bit more pertinent to your world because you have probably a little bit more oversight and visibility into what the marketing teams are doing. And your marketing teams may very well be you, or it could be maybe one or two people that are resources within the organization. So what this program is basically it's a free course. First of all, it's a 7-day email course. So the idea behind it is just that each day I'm going to send you a new lesson, and the goal of it is that by the end of the week you'll have all of the tools and resources and sort of mindset that you need to start building out your blueprint. So what I'll focus on is helping you understand really what each of these marketing channels are and what they mean for when it comes to the buyers that you're looking for. Again, your buyers may be in certain places. They may be on LinkedIn, but they're not going to be necessarily on Facebook or TikTok. Or it could be that they're never going to do a Google search for what it is you're selling because that's just not the type of product that you sell. And so, this breaks it down for you. So you kind of understand the personas of the marketing channels as well as how it relates to perhaps the personas of the people that you do business with. And so we're also going to focus on what I call idea jumpers. Idea jumpers are people that try a marketing idea maybe once, it doesn't work. And so then they just give up and walk away from it and they say, oh, marketing doesn't work. It's not true. Marketing can work, but you have to really, again, understand how the marketing channels work. Because if you're going at it from just a salesperson's perspective, think about the relationship there. Sales, their job is to just collect yeses and nos. It's a numbers game. The more no's I get, the closer I am to a yes. So it's not about spending a lot of time doing relationship building. Not I shouldn't say all the time. Sometimes relationship building is very much a key piece of that. But sometimes it can be something that's very quick and you're just trying to kind of, churn and burn, get those sales in. So you're not spending as much time. You don't have the time. You've got quotas that you have to hit in order to make sure that you get your sales numbers for the month. And so you're moving at a different pace, and your mindset is moving at a different pace. Whereas if sales are collecting no's, I always say that marketing, they're collecting maybes because not one single marketing attempt is going to do the trick. Now, you may get some things out of it, but usually it's going to take multiple touches and it's going to be multiple channels. Think about the way that you even look for a solution for yourself. You don't just Google something and go buy it unless you're like you've already done the research and you know exactly what it is you want. You look at it. You maybe go to their website. Maybe you leave the website. Maybe you come back later. Maybe you see a targeting ad that pops up for you, and so you go back and visit the site. Maybe you start following their social media or you sign up for an email. There are all these different steps, which is basically called marketing latency, marketing channel latency. And so it's the idea that those steps can take anywhere from 5 days to 500 days. I mean, it just depends on the size of your organization and what marketing channels are right for you and where the buyer is in that buying process. So there are all kinds of things that happen in the marketing side, but it's collecting maybes and trying to turn more and more of those maybes into a yes. And so that's the kind of stuff that you're going to get out of doing this 7-day email course. It's going to give you the ability to start to understand marketing better and really help your mindset. So if you're a marketer, it's going to help you understand how to kind of sort of teach from within and help your business leaders that you work with better understand what it is you're doing so that they'll value you more. But if you are someone who is outside of marketing and you maybe need to do it yourself, or you just want to, again, improve your own knowledge so that you can be a better partner to the marketing team, that's where this course will be a huge help for you. Again, it's free. Just go to blueprint.azolacreative.com and you can sign up to start getting the 7-day email course. Azola is spelled Azola, just so you know. Blueprint.azolacreative.com. All right, so let's get into our topic of brand versus product marketing. And there's so many things we can do and say when it comes to this, but we're going to break this down because this is a half-hour podcast and we're not going to talk all day about it. But I think the question, like the chicken and the egg, is kind of which comes first, brand or product. And my opinion is that I actually believe product comes first. And there are people I have a lot of respect for that disagree with me on this. They have their opinions around brand, and I'm not disregarding the importance of brand, but I believe that product comes first because I believe that product defines what type of brand experience you're going to have. So let me unpack that for you so you understand what I mean. When you think about, well, we'll start with brand. When you think about brand, too many people think of brand as simply brand identity. They're thinking about, oh, what is my logo? What's the name of the company? What's my logo? Maybe what is my slogan? What are the colors that I use? I mean, that's just brand identity. That's just a way that people see you versus someone else, just purely from a visual standpoint. But the brand itself is really about the experience that you create for someone. So it's about when someone buys from you, what happens? How are they treated? Do you have really great customer service? Do you have a knowledge base for them that they feel really well taken care of because they did business with you? Are they, I guess, feeling almost smarter because they bought from you? Sometimes that can be very appealing to feel like you're in this very forward-thinking kind of company. Do you have really beautiful packaging, or do you send things as a gift just because someone picked up the phone and called or sent an email? I've seen a company years ago, they would do webinars, and they were excellent, excellent, excellent at creating a great experience for people, because as soon as you sign up for the webinar, they took that and they mailed out a gift for you just because you signed up. Not even that you've attended it yet, that you bought anything from them. They send you a free, it's like a free cup, was the time I experienced it. They sent me like a free cup, just a water cup, whatever. But that was just because I signed up for their webinar. I mean, that's just a great starting place. If you send chocolates, if you send even just a card, a thank you card or something like that, that's all brand experience kind of stuff. So when you're thinking about your brand, I think a lot of people, when they want to start a business, or they're thinking about where they focus on their marketing part of it, and I think that the brand part comes when you're ready to scale up the reputation of your company. You want to build upon the reputation. If you've built something really powerful, you want to build upon that. And that's your brand experience. Or you have these things that are special about the way that you do things, but they may just be sort of the way you are. And maybe not everyone in your organization does it. That's where you might build that brand experience so that everybody does the same thing. You think about Disney, and they refer to their staff as cast members. They refer to everyone who comes there as a guest. They refer to well, I think there's something else. I'm trying to think of the third thing they do. I'm drawing a blank to it. But they have just all these different terms that they use for how they talk to people and how they talk about people. Oh yeah, I know what it is. I mean, it is not a name. This is just the pointing thing. If you are familiar with Disney, you know that they don't point in a direction. If you ask someone for directions, a cast member, ask them where it is that something might be, whether it's food or a ride or something like that. They don't point with just their index finger. They point with two fingers, because it's rude to point with just one finger. And so they make sure they point with two fingers. Or you go to Chick-fil-A and they say, "My pleasure." Everyone says it. It's something that's expected of someone if you go eat there. Like, those are the kind of brand experiences that you're thinking about when you're talking about brand. So that's why when it comes to product, quite frankly, you don't need any of that yet. You don't need any of that until you've actually sold something. And so you can spend months and months and months trying to decide what this brand experience is going to be, but I don't think you get it until you actually have sold something and sort of learn from your customers on what it is that they are looking for. If you sell something and your customers have a bad experience, well, you learn, don't do that anymore, or else you're not going to be in business very long. Or if you do something and your customers love it, it's something that they comment on to you, they respect about the way that you do things, or the way that you took care of them, the service that you gave them, or whatever it is, that's part of the brand experience. And those are the aha moments that are going to come into play. And that's going to be when you're ready to start building out that brand identity or that brand experience. So don't get yourself caught up too soon. People want to focus on, well, I need the domain name, I need that website, I need an email address, I need all these different things. I need business cards and brochures and PowerPoint decks and whatever. Yeah, but it'll all come. The first thing is, can you even sell something? Going back to Dan Miller's quote, if I hear the same question three times, I need to make it into a product. So think about what people ask you all the time that you might take for granted. But the reality is that it might be those things that go into the product roadmap that you have, or it could be those things that go into the brand experience that you're going to build. But you won't know them until you've sold something or you've done something that people are interested in paying for. No one, I mean, oh my gosh, like you can think of so many different brands out there that collapsed because all they focused on was they just thought they could win you over with a lot of flash. There was a company in the Super Bowl last year. They had a commercial. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was something like a smokeless grill is what they were selling. They had Snoop Dogg in the commercial, and I mean, look, it had all kinds of accolades. Like people like loved the commercial. They loved Snoop Dogg. They're like, this is funny. It's a great thing because, of his relationship with pot. Just the idea of a smokeless grill. It was just a funny kind of play on words when it came to using him in the commercial. Well, okay, great. They paid, whatever their millions of dollars to be in the Super Bowl ad, but then no one bought the product. And so they spent so much focus on this experience and this commercial, and they just thought they were going to win everybody over with just the wow factor of kind of the lights, camera action of the commercial, and then it didn't sell. So it's not brand experiences don't always sell the product. The product, however, can help build the brand experience. So if my personal opinion, and by the way, if you have a different opinion, I love to hear it. If you think I'm wrong, if you have a story or something that you think is just better and why that you should focus on something different, I love it. I could debate this stuff all day and it's fun for me. And it's not meant, I'm not, I don't get angry about this kind of stuff. I love hearing other people's opinions because I love to hear perspective that I don't have. So I'm just going to mention it right here. If you have a different opinion, if you have a thought on this that you just want to share, go to azolacreative.com/podcast. And on there's a form you can fill out and you can write to me directly with whatever your comments are. Or if you have another topic that you think would be worthwhile discussing, put it in there. And I'll look at it and maybe I'll mention it in another podcast in the future and kind of unpack what it is that you said. So anyway, there are people I know, I have colleagues that will strongly disagree with me on this, but I'm just telling you right now, if you are starting a business tomorrow, focus more on what it is you're actually going to sell than what you think all this brand identity stuff is, because until you get more familiar with your customers, whoever they are, that's going to be when you can really shine when it comes to building out that brand. So don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying brand's not important by any means. I do believe brand is how you scale up. I think that once you have a product that you can sell at scale and you can sell it repeatable and it's something that can be profitable and you can just do more and more of it, your branding strategy is going to lift you up. You do it right, it is going to lift you higher than you even thought you could go. But until you're at that point on the product side of it, I just don't believe in putting a lot of energy into brand. That's just kind of where it is. So I'll leave it at that. Now I'm going to tell you another story really quickly, just because it came to mind when I was thinking about the Snoop Dogg thing. Just another example of this is an interesting thing that I don't know yet how it's going to go. None of us know yet how it's going to go. But I'm going to bring up the company, the Jaguar, the car. So Jaguar's been around forever. It's a luxury car, and unfortunately for Jaguar, they have a very small market share. Like I think worldwide, they have maybe 0.3% of all car purchases. So they're not thriving by any means, and in many ways, they're probably, really pushing up the wall on can we even last? Okay, so and look, I'm going to be honest. I love Jaguars. I love them. I love the way they look. I love the way it feels to drive one. But the reliability of them is something different as an experience. So as a brand experience, they have a really poor reputation when it comes to reliability. And for the price of the car, it's not a very easy sell. So I think that's why the brand has diminished over the years. So their product, again, kind of looks beautiful out on the outside, but once you have one, you deal with some problems. I know from experience. I had one, and I mean, quite frankly, I couldn't wait to get rid of it because of that problem. As far as the maintenance of it, it was constantly a problem. So anyway, that's where the product hurts the brand. Bad product. creates a bad brand experience. Well, anyway, the point of me bringing them up is that, recently they launched a new campaign. It was their Copy Nothing campaign, and they basically did a rebrand of their logo, but they also did, uh, a huge commercial, kind of a whole big press thing where it was like a shock and awe kind of campaign. Yeah, it had some controversy because there are people that are, it's controversial. Let's just leave it at this. It's controversial when it comes to having, uh, certain, I guess, people or certain, uh, I wouldn't, I don't even know what to call it. It's just people. But some people were transgender, or some people, maybe portrayed something that were, I guess, again, I don't even know what to call it. People get, I think, fake outrage over things. There's a lot of people that just get mad about something because they want to get mad. They like to get themselves stirred up and get angry about something. Again, remember, Jaguar has 0.3% of global car sales. But yet there are people that got in a huge uproar about this commercial. Well, look, that's actually what Jaguar wanted. Or, they wanted the controversy. They wanted the attention because it put their brand on the map again to where people were actually paying attention to who they were. They're kind of that car company that I think most people forgot that they even still existed. Well, here's the interesting thing, and this goes to the point of what I'm saying, that we don't even know yet how this is going to work out. Jaguar is not selling any cars for the next year on purpose. They have stopped selling all of their traditional vehicles, or I should say, they've stopped manufacturing them. And it's kind of like what's left on the lot is what you can get. And once it's sold, then that's it. So they're not selling any new cars in 2025. So even any car that is on the lot, it's going to be a 2024 or older. But they're doing this because they've decided to go all in on electric vehicles. So their belief is that by going 100% EV, they're going to have the ability to uh, sell higher quality, higher end, higher priced luxury cars, which is what they've been known for forever. I mean, that's who they were. And so they're really taking a huge gamble by basically just stirring the pot, getting everybody kind of like at least thinking about them and fighting over them or arguing or whatever kind of, again, like social media debates that people want to make about. I mean, I saw all over the place on LinkedIn, ad nausea, as far as like just, you know, all the different people. Is it nausea or nauseum? I think I said that wrong. Anyway, whatever it is, it's just that people were just getting all bent out of shape about what Jaguar did. But I'm like, but that's what they wanted. It worked. It was a great branding campaign because it got people talking about a brand that was obsolete. And so then all of a sudden everybody got mad about it. Like anyone's ever gone, I mean, 0.3% of the marketplace. How many people actually own a Jaguar? It's next to nothing. But yet people got mad about it and people got happy about it and they fought about it. So great campaign from a starting place because now you got people paying attention to who you are. And now, guess what? There's no inventory. So even if you want it, it's not there for you yet. And so they have a year. I don't know if it's going to be uh mid-year in 2026, the beginning of the year. I don't know what that timeline looks like yet. But whatever it is, they have all this time now to build upon that and just do different things as a branding campaign to get you excited about the product. So then we'll see. Does it work? Does it bring Jaguar back to life? Does it make them, in the same ranking again as like compete with like Tesla and companies of that sort in the EV market? So I mean, I think it's really interesting to see what's going to happen and just to kind of watch it unfold. Um, but that's where you have the reverse thing, right? If Jaguar just built a bunch of, and they had EV vehicles already, so it's not like it's new that they had an EV vehicle, but this idea of just going all EV and building out new models, new designs, I mean, they could have done that without this big branding campaign, but their reputation is still poor from a quality control standpoint. They still were looked at as kind of obsolete and just something of the past, and just not good quality. Now people are talking about this rebrand, and now they get to do a reverse sell. They get to build the brand up as a whole new thing, and then build the demand up, because the demand can't be met right now. The inventory is not there for you. So you can get excited. But guess what? You have to wait now to buy it, which is a great way to build up excitement for a product. It's that pre-sale and so I'm just fascinated. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I love to see what people do and how companies respond to things, because it's a gamble. I mean, like, they're going all in on this, but they kind of have to anyway, because when you look at the idea of 0.3% of the market, where else do they have to go at this point? So it's worth the gamble. And I'm personally, I'm rooting for them. I hope that it works. I would love to see them come back as a really great luxury brand that's actually a reliable brand as well. And they might get that, in a better place with the EV vehicles. So I am rooting for them, but it still remains to be seen. All right. We're just about out of time. So I don't know if I got your head even cloudier than it was before you started listening, or if it started to help you kind of understand a little bit the difference between what brand marketing is versus product marketing. But I just want you to think about this week. Like, this is kind of your homework, is just figuring out which one is more important to you, or which one you should be focused on right now based on where your business is. Again, you have an opportunity to create a lot of excitement from the brand strategy part. But if your product isn't right, and your product isn't attractive, and you're not even making sales at a small scale level, then all the money in the world is not necessarily going to overcome that. That smokeless grill that I talked about is an example of that. And so what I want you to do is just think about where you are and how you think about your brand. And again, I think about it from a product standpoint, but you can think about it in other ways. Even as a hiring company, like, there are companies out there that do a great job of branding themselves as employers and why you should want to work there. But again, you can't get there unless you have that employee experience in the first place that got built up over time. So, but just think about, like, branding is not just brand identity. Your logo is one of the most, it's very meaningful, but it's not the experience. The experience is what's going to sell and grow your business over time. So just make sure you're talking about the right thing when you're doing this. All right. So I'm going to plug again the SME. Oh my gosh, the SMB marketing blueprint. If I could talk, then we'd really get far on this show. So the SMB marketing blueprint, go to blueprint.azolacreative.com, and you can sign up for that 7-day free email course. Like I said, each day you get a new lesson, and it's at the end of it, you should have all the tools, resources, and hopefully a better mindset for how to build out your marketing blueprint for yourself. And then also, if you have an opinion that differs from mine on any topics that I discuss, or if you have a success story of your own that you can share with me, that you don't mind me sharing over the podcast, again, I'll protect the innocent, and you can let me know if it's okay to use your company name or your individual name, whatever. You let me know, and we'll do that. But anything that you want to talk about, just send it to me. Go to azolacreative.com/podcast, and you can put a note in there, and it'll go to me, and we'll review it and possibly bring it up on a future show. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening. If you like the podcast, do me a favor and please subscribe to it, for one, and then also leave a review. I know some people just don't like to leave reviews. Feels like a pain, but it really goes a long way in helping spread the word. And so if you will please subscribe to the podcast as well as leave a review, it'd be a huge help, and I would appreciate it. So again, thank you for listening this week. Talk to you next week, but always remember, be focused on not worrying about what can go wrong, but be focused on just being prepared and planning for all the things that will go right. Don't get caught up in all the worry and this is never going to work. Be focused on building out a vision for all the things you're going to do, because things are going to go right. That's the mindset you want to be in, and I hope that you'll have it each week when you come back to the Productize or Perish podcast. Thank you. Talk to you next week.